Welcome to the channel, beautiful family. Today we'll be starting the first episode in our podcast titled What It Means to Be Chosen. This is a very trending topic, and what it means to be chosen is going to break down and unveil all the mysticism that's hidden behind this famous phrase. Now, have you ever felt something sacred or divinely set apart in you? Then this is for you. As a chosen one, you will journey into all kinds of aspects of the daily lives. However, it is a fragile pathway and it is a wielding power that must be protected. So let's get right to it and let's decode what it means to be chosen. Because now in this age, there's a lot of hidden mysticism and a lot of propaganda per se. So what it means to be chosen is really telling you that you're being set apart, not elevated as a special person or badges or all these tags that this comes with the new age. However, it doesn't even mean that you're better. It just means that you're simply called to walk a path that few are willing to tread. And this path is very narrow, lonely at times can be. However, it's well worth your long run, It is calling you to live with integrity and to love even when it's hard. This is what being chosen is all about, family. So as you go through your journey and you dismantle the illusions of the outer world, just be focused on the self, be focused on the inner dialogue, and just listen deeply, okay? And care softly, because if you feel that there's a calling and you're chosen, this is for you. Now, the chosen ones are people who answer the call, of course, and stay in the course. Now, this means that you have been refined by fire and that your trials weren't punishment. You understand this was divine alignment, and this is what refined you, okay? The chosen are being tested at all times, and it doesn't mean that they're weak. It just means that they're destined for more, so they gotta be fierily tested, per se. You're always going to be tested, like gold in the furnace, per se. So you're being shaped through your struggle, and you're being molded in the hardships of life and the school of hard knocks, like we say, But this is purifying your solitude. So what does it mean to be chosen? This means that you're being trusted with a vision because you see differently. You feel more deeply, and you often sense truth that others ignore. Now, this can feel like a curse sometimes, but it's actually a sign that you're tuned into your higher self through the higher vibration and frequencies. Now, as you learn your pathway, how to move along the ins and outs, the ups and downs, you will find it easier along the way as you've been given a vision, and sometimes you can actually see them in dreams. Sometimes it's just a subtle knowing, but you got to protect this vision because it is in your nature. And so as you grow, you will learn to find yourself in silence, because silence is going to be your shield. This is what it means to be chosen. You have a responsibility, and this is involving the ability to respond, or the energy that's being vibrated through you, because now you're in favor and the flow will follow you. But this will not be easy. Sometimes it can come with resistance because you are meant to shift the atmosphere, not fit into it. So once you start creating waves, this is what will start to happen. You're going to create some type of resistance from the outer projection of the world versus you creating your own alignment, which is the best way to understand it as law of attraction, because now you know what you're doing. You know why you're doing it, and you're just harmonizing with that field of consciousness. So the chosens are meant to be in light at all times, not just in the shadows working or in the back of the noise, per se. You're here to heal, to awaken, to build something eternal that's already there in the field. It's just that people are so distant from this because of the noise, and the world is obsessed with all kinds of turbulence. So whatever it is that you're going through, just go through it. It is only temporary. Now, chosen means that you have to surrender to divine timing, because you walk by faith, not by sight. The chosen life, it is not fast, it is faithful. That means you understand the system, you understand the matrix, how it works, and you know everything's in divine timing because the universe never punishes you. Sometimes just things are in delay because you have to align with that version of you that is ready to accept whatever it is that you desire. So you may not always understand these delays, but you got to trust the system because they are in alignment with you and it is not a punishment, like I mentioned. Now, let's break down this divine timing. So, as we break down this divine timing, we understand that the hidden flow of currency and energy of the universe is hidden within and it's going to be revealed as you bridge this energy. And the small becomes mighty and the unseen becomes undeniable for you. Now, that's what it means to be chosen. It doesn't mean that you always feel perfect or ready. It just means that you aligned with the field of consciousness and that you understand the rhythm of eternity. And so this is the divine timing for you because everything is due in seasons. And now, as you form your own reality and you create your own eternal way of living, now you understand that the world may not recognize you for what you are. And that's okay. We're not going to victimize ever because now we know that everybody has the same entity. It's just fragmented, but you remember now and you know what is in you. It's within everywhere else and in every person as well. So you treat everything equally because you know that the key is within. So you are the key. Something in you knows that. And once you unlock this, in a world addicted to noise, silence becomes a sacred rebellion. And that's the secret shield to the chosen ones. The silence is your shield, and I can't repeat it enough because silence is an emptiness. It is a fullness without the distraction of what thinking about being chosen is all about. So this is crucial that we understand what it means to be chosen because it's in this time of age is definitely misunderstood for the wrong things. And now being quiet is another misinterpreted situation. People think it's weakness or that you're being silenced. However, this is presence in its purest form. And now once the chosen ones speak, they speak from the soul because it's ready. The soul's been listening. The ego wants attention and it's always trying to manifest at its own way of thinking or living per se. Now, when you listen deeply from the soul, then you now know when to talk because this is the power and the force behind your vibration, your breath. Now, you listen deeply not just to others. Now, your silence will give you that power that every time you're ready to speak, you're going to trust yourself and you're going to say what you got to say at that given moment because this is an alignment, as we mentioned, with divine timing. So we also got to be careful as we go talking along the way because not everything that you're saying is meant to be spoken ahead of time. There is a lot of prejudgment, and now this makes everything a little controversial as far as you shielding your power because premature judgment can delay certain things or distract certain energy. So as we continue trying to break down what it means as to be chosen, I got to keep embracing the fact that silence is your shield. This is for all the chosen ones because you need to know that every time you keep something sacred to yourself, this is protecting your power. It is not weakness like many think. So not everything that's holy is meant to be spoken, like I was mentioning it, because once you understand that you are the sanctuary, you need to guard it from others' vision, from others' premature judgments. And this is why it is your shield to protect your own energy, because this is how your power will grow and in quality as well, especially in the alone times. Once you're interacting with yourself, with nature and stuff like that, you need to understand that this seed is planted in you, in your DNA, and it's in everybody. It's just that not everybody chose to accept it, but you did, and this is why you're transforming. And this is why you water your whole garden with your inner knowledge of knowing that you're chosen, and you decided to share that inner knowledge in your own way. So this is what you do. You grow in silence because everybody's healing at some point, but some don't understand that the true healing will come in silence, because in silence is when you're going to be in that most purest form, interacting with that stillness that it's inside, that divine movement within that is creating that speech per se. Because if I asked you, do you think I'm talking faster than what I'm thinking? Then you know what I'm saying. That what I'm thinking is energy flowing at all times at the speed of light, manifesting through the speech. This is how it becomes abstract. This is how you can listen from my vibration. So I'm vibrating as I'm speaking, and the sound, it is what you're interpreting because you have learned this application of language, whether it's English, Spanish, whatever it is, and you're decoding it through the light, through the sound wave of vibration. And so this is so crucial that you understand how important silence is for the chosen one. Now, let's move on and let's talk about purpose and what the chosen ones do as they understand that every word is a spell and it carries a vibration, because they're no longer empty shells. Now you're talking with intention, and your words will create and will sculpture people's reality. And this becomes a tool that you can precisely use and intentionally. So silence will help you give that tool some strength. Now, let's keep talking and moving forward in regards to the communion with the divine entity that's within, that you have developed through the power of silence. So by now, if you've been listening, you already know that silence is the deeper communion with your divine. So silence, as you have chosen to be what you're doing, silence is going to be your shield. Now let's keep going and let's break down what it means to be a divine guardian. That means you have accepted the instructions from the higher realms, from that small voice, that inner silence, that quiet stillness that has given you the power to continue as a chosen one, because now you have the power of speech and it's anchored in you as you shield it. Now you're able to teach yourself and teach others as you express your thoughts, because you're claiming your calling. And now you need to protect your space, because this is where you are blooming in your calling to be chosen. And so now let's turn the being chosen topic into something holy. What does it mean to be a guardian of the divine? It is to protect, it is to embody that inner knowing. You become a bridge between what is understood for heaven and what it's understood for earth. And not in a literal sense, we're just talking about consciousness and body. So it's your higher realm and your lower realm, your mind and body spirit. This is what we mean by heaven and earth. Now, we'll cover that segment in another podcast, but for today, let's just focus on what it means to be chosen, because you need to understand as you speak the power that it's in demand as you continue to bridge this energy, because now you're a vessel. You are a chosen one, and you are a guardian of the sacred wisdom and ancient memory through the spiritual technologies that have been forgotten by the modern world. This is why it's so important that you carry this with intuitive intention and a well-being, as you know that being chosen what it's all about, that you've been trusted with this frequency, you've been trusted with this vision and with the soul assignment that you have selected. This is not random. It may look random and it may feel fake at times. However, if you continue on this path, then you know it's part of your dream, it's part of your insight, it's part of your healing, it's part of your transcendence, love, and it's part of your words. Now, that's the gift of being chosen, that you know this is not just some illusory concept. It is for you to grasp and apply with intention for you and the whole collective. This is evolution, and this is the light that's within, that you keep exposing it, because now you understand what you are. So now let's get into that section of what the guardian of the divine really means, and let's break it down. All right, we already spoke about the heaven and earth aspect of it, and so what does this mean? And so now let's just carry on and decode what it means to be a guardian of the divine. This means that you just don't speak with no intention, because now your voice, it becomes a vessel of the power of that entity that it's within manifesting, and you have the key. And you know it's not for you, it's to be shared, because you've been entrusted with this frequency as a soul that carries on its mission, as I mentioned. So once you transcend the mind and the words of the world that have been putting you down or demotivating you to go about what you feel like really doing or being, now you continue on your divine pathway. And this is the light that's within that you're manifesting to share with the world through Source. The guardians move in silence, and this is why we need to know what silence is, and we keep talking about it, because now that we followed through that part of the topic, now you can manifest in the guardian's voice, because now you move in silence with precision. You know when to speak and when to hold the line. You have a sense of direction. Now, energy is not just something to be wasted. This is your currency. This is the real money in this timeline that we're living in, because your energy is your breath. And now once you feel the spirituality manifesting through you, you know when to waste that energy. And so now that you move with this type of effort and energy, the minute you walk into a room, you can feel the energy in the room. You can even shift it at times, because once you land there, people know that there's a chosen one in there. They don't know it consciously, but their soul knows it. So now you start to see all the coincidence. Now you start to see all the synchronicities, the manifestations, and now you're guardian of the divine. And so everything's going to be more anchored to your intention and your attention, because your energy is magnetizing. It is protecting the sacred that walks within you. So this is why every word becomes a spoken demand. And so now you're a living altar, and your presence alone shifts the energy in these rooms, because everybody carries a frequency. And so once you're in silence, you can hear the unspoken word, the ripples and the timelines from everybody's manifestation, because everybody's thinking. Nobody can shut their mind off. So whether you hear them or not, they're thinking something. Anywhere you go, people are thinking. And this is how you interact with their energy. So you can interact with people's energy without literally talking, because now you're a guardian of the divine. That now that you know this, your choices either invite light or dim it, because you as a guardian understand that your life is the temple. Every thought, every action is an offering. Guardians are rare, I know, because the chosen don't know that they've been chosen. However, this is something that now you walk with conscience, and this allows you to be hidden within the crowd, and you may feel unseen or overlooked, but that's perfect. That's the way it's supposed to be. You know, this is just like ancient temples. They're hidden in the jungle, and your power isn't in your visibility. It is in your vibration. And this is why it's important to know how to act as a guardian of the divine, because you're not here to be worshipped. You're just here to awaken others and show them the doorway, show them the path. It's their choice whether they walk through it or not. So you are the chosen one. You are the path. And now you're not here to just fit in. You're here to guard it. Guard and protect the pathway. Guard and protect the spoken word, the eternal noise that's within, to anchor the heaven within the human form. And that's the way we walk, with dignity, with intention. And you know that now you're chosen, and this is why the divine trusts you. So now, as we move forward, we're going to talk about divine timing, because now you need to understand what divine timing is and how you move in rhythm with eternity. Because when you're chosen, you just don't move like others in the ticking world's clock. You are in the eternal vibration of the rhythm of the universe. You live in divine timing. Now, remember this, the ego will always want the now, and the soul always trusts the later, because we've been conditioned to rush, chase, and desire as passions through lust and all kinds of worldly events. However, divine timing will allow you to know that there's no delays. Everything is already perfect in the field of consciousness. The universe never runs late, per se. So this is what is meant by divine timing. You have already set yourself in motion, and now you need to meet the version of you that is ready to hold the best version of you, to manifest and accept what has been promised to you. So this is yourself from the lower realm to the higher realm, manifesting in this timeline. And now you're assuming and you're recuperating your forgotten power. You're not just being punished, you're being prepared. You know this. You're not longer from the victim's perspective. Now you're in silence, and you're not rejecting your calling. You're just being tuned in refinement. And that's what divine timing is all about. It slows you down a bit, but your soul is at right on time. Your soul is in your destiny. Your soul is your seed in the pathway. This is your soil. Your soul is like that soil that take care of the seed to grow in the dark. So the seed doesn't question the darkness. It doesn't demand anything. The seed just allows the sun to do what it's there to do before the roots are ready. And you too are being rooted. You're being rooted and aligned in your destiny through your soul. This is your strength. And when the moment is right, your blooming is undeniable, because this is going to be your season. And now you start to live from within synchronicities that echoes the divine timing. And that's going to be your alignment with divine timing. You understand what's going on now. You start to see the messages, the people, the sudden clarities. It is not a coincidence. It is called alignment, and it's unfolding as you glimpse behind the veil. When you understand what it means to be chosen, now you understand what it means to be divinely timed. And being in divine timing, now this allows you not to chase any longer, because you are attracting. Have arrived in exact precision with the timing that's perfect. And now you, as a chosen one, walk by faith, not by force. Think about it. We didn't hurry to get here. We landed here. So just like that, with no rush, you step into your flow of choice, that you're being anointed and you're being chosen to be in this pathway through the calling that you're answering. If you're watching this, this means you're answering your calling, because this is not by chance. This is by synchronicity that you're watching this. So it is time for your soul to agree and understand that you're chosen. This is the importance of the stillness, of being silent, because this is what's refurnishing your whole situation, and it's giving you the strength to pull through any season that you're going through as you're waiting, because you're not on your own time. You're in destinies and the universe's perfection of time. And so now you know what divine timing is. And so what that means is that as you move along your alignment, you don't question things anymore, and you don't worship things anymore. You feel the nudges, you hear the echo, you know you're ready. And this is your divine timing, because you walk anointed, per se. You walk in your season, you walk in your readiness, you walk in your synchronicity, and they will start to increase, because now you start to see repeating numbers, meaningful songs, and everything is just in the right time. And you're thinking it might be coincidence, but this is your calling, and this is how you know you're in alignment, because this is what we call coincidence, and these are the divine breadcrumbs, per se. So that's the proof that spirituality is not only physical, it is a dancing in rhythm. And now you stop creating resistance, because resistance was what was making everything fade away and creating blocks. Now you know that everything's starting to flow, doors starts to open, and even things that you didn't know existed began to manifest. And now you are no longer in force and in trouble with the nature of alignment. You are in flow, and you start to follow this divine alignment, because it feels that everything is being purposely done in favor. And now you start to carry that seed and swimming upstream, per se. Now this is what we call inner peace, that without you not understanding, you're in acceptance. And now you understand that this is what we call divine timing. It is that inner peace that you feel something is out of place, or something that you can't explain, but everything is just perfect the way it is, because that's the way it has to be. Now you understand what being in divine timing is all about. So as we dive into the segment of the inner peace for a chosen one, and understanding the synchronicities that alignment has allowed you to know what it feels like and what inner peace is all about, now you're no longer anxious. Now you're no longer seeking for answers, because you know you may not have all the answer, but your spirit feels calm. It feels your calling, even when the path isn't fully visible. And that's what we call peace. It is not logical, it is spiritual. And this is your soul's way of telling you that you are in the right path, that you are meeting the right people, that you are in the right moment. Because suddenly you meet mentors, you meet tribes, you meet people that you didn't even know existed. And so now this starts to match your vibration. You're starting to match your frequency. And you don't have to chase any longer. Now you're in alignment. Everything finds you. This is the divine pathway. And this is what always people have been talked about in regards to the right time, because nothing's a second earlier and nothing's a second late. You know your energy and you begin to attract because you no longer force things. You're no longer begging. You see validation in everything. You stopped over explaining yourself. You stopped creating excuses. People are drawn to your essence now. You start to feel the alignment because you know that what speaks to you is what we call the light. And those words are no longer empty. Now they're in alignment with the universe. So it's like you know the universe is speaking through you. And it's not shouting, it's speaking through its own symbols, through its own timelines. And what do I mean by its own timelines? It means that there are stages as you go in your path of evolution through the chosen one that awakens. You just got to pay attention, because as you evolve, everything will shift. This is not a marathon. This is life manifesting through your soul and your presence. And so you're just going through your different shifts, manifesting at all times as you feel, because now you learn to feel. As a chosen one, you don't do nothing out of alignment. So you'll know what timeline you're in as you're evolving, and you just got to be listening and allowing yourself to be guided, because the sacred is moving within you. So these are the sacred attributes of the chosen one. You do have stages that you will see as they manifest. And if you made it this far, it's not by chance. Again, I want to thank you for being part of this podcast. It is the first podcast, so things are going to get a little more deep in the new other podcasts to come. But remember, we needed to make sure everybody understood what it was to be a chosen one. And if you're in this podcast, why you're here, because you have answered your calling. Now that we understand what being chosen, we need to summarize what it's all about. And that means that you don't carry a badge, you just walk a different path. You're not escaping the world, but you're here to help it heal. You carry a sacred fire, and it's within you that's burning the light. This is the awakening. This is your sacred moment. You may not always feel as strong, however, you feel your presence, and this is the shift that creates vibration through frequency as you grow in silence. Because now that we can summarize everything we've spoken on being the chosen one, you already know that silence is your shield. So you don't need attention. What you need is alignment. You need to build from the unseen. You need to feel your roots, that they run so deep from within the DNA strands that comes within, and you manifest so without. Now, this allows you to know that you are a guardian of the divine, and your life is the altar. So your thoughts, your actions, now they're protected. Now you know they're holy. Even when no one else sees it, you know it. So this is why you're chosen, because you move in divine timing. You do not rush anymore. You do not chase any longer. You trust now, because now you know what it means to be chosen. You know that the universe honors those that walk in faith. The universe recognizes the signs that you're manifesting, because it is within and you're not being ignored. Now you know, and so the universe honors those who walk in faith. So don't ever feel ignored, because the universe hears what others dismiss, because now you are tuned in the whispers of the divine alignment of the soul, the spirit that leads you closer to your purpose each day. This is also what we understand for destiny and divine timing. So these that I'm saying to you right now are words that you're remembering. This is not you listening to somebody just talking, because you were never meant to blend in. You were made to illuminate. And no matter how long it's been and how long you've been deviated, it is not bad for you. It was just a silent season, and the silent season is starting to crumble now. Your hidden powers and your hidden journey, it's revealing itself. And you are exactly where you need to be. So keep going, keep trusting, keep becoming, because the world needs the version of you that you were here to manifest, because you're now remembering what it is to be chosen. So as you go along your days, you can create mantras to remind yourself and say things like this: I am chosen, I am guided, and I am ready to be the best version of me, and I am in divine alignment with divinity as I go along my day. And this will create a harmony between you and the inner friction, per se. If you're going through anything that might not be in harmony with your intentions. So I want to make sure that everything was understood in this podcast as what it was to be chosen. So I decoded everything in a specific way through segments of the path and the stages of the being chosen, as it can all be differently timed through each individual's pathway. But at the end, the essence was delivered. And if you listened, you have now all the keys to make yourself evolve. If this message spoke to your soul, please share it with someone as a reminder. Subscribe and like for more content like this, because this podcast just begun. And this is the first episode, and there's more content to come. We'll be interacting as we grow in this channel with more soul whispers and more remembrance of your divine timing through the chosen ones. Now, thank you for watching. Universal Consciousness signing out.